Good afternoon. We're just going to wait for a few more commissioners to arrive so we can have a quorum.
I believe there are 5 on the call.
Thank you. We can get started. I'll call this meeting to order at 1:33 p.m. First will be roll call. Commissioner Alexander.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Flick, present. Commissioner Lunn.
Present.
Commissioner Mobley.
Present.
Commissioner Witry.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Stewart. Commissioner Stewart. Okay, we'll continue. Next order of business will be adoption of the meeting minutes from September 14th. Do I have any questions or a motion for approval of those minutes?
Commissioner Witcher will make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from September 14th, 2021.
Thank you, Commissioner Witry. Is there a second?
Commissioner Mobley will second.
Commissioner Mobley seconds. Thank you. I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander.
Yes.
Commissioner Flick. Yes. Commissioner Lunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we'll do the reading of the hearing rules.
And then Chairperson Flick, this is Commissioner Stieg, and I just joined, missed the vote, but if you would show me as being present now, I made it.
Thank you, Commissioner Stieg. So the special hearing public rules. The order of business of the hearing shall be as follows: call to order and roll call with recording of members present, approval of minutes, reading of the hearing rules, presentation of dockets, staff presentation, applicant presentation, questions from members, a 30-minute recess, consideration of the dockets with public comment, rebuttal by the applicant, questions from the members, voting, and adjournment. The presentation of dockets, the order of business for each docket shall be as follows: presentation by the City Planning Commission staff, presentation by the applicant or their representative. The appellant or applicant may appear on their behalf or be represented by a duly authorized agent. Only one representative may speak on behalf of a request and must pre-register with the staff of the City Planning Commission. Other representatives or speakers may sign up to provide comments during the public comment portion of the meeting. The applicant shall be allowed a maximum of 2 minutes. Questions from members. The members have an opportunity to ask questions of the staff or the applicant. The commission shall take a 30-minute recess to allow for members of the public to comment. Public comment rules, only one written public comment, only written public comment will be allowed. Live public comment will not be allowed. No member of the public may submit more than one written comment per agenda item. Time allowed for public comment. The public comment form will be made available at the start of the meeting and will close at the end of the 30-minute recess. Form. Public comments must be submitted electronically on the form provided by the City Planning Commission. Any comment missing this information will not be read aloud. Each submission must contain the commenter's first and last name, the commenter's address, whether the commenter is being paid in connection with his or her comments, and the agenda item. Reading of the public comments. A moderator will read into the record all comments pertaining to that item that have been submitted in accordance with these rules. Comments will be read aloud in a normal speaking voice. The moderator will discontinue reading the comment once it exceeds 2 minutes. Rebuttal by the applicant. Following the public comment period, if there's an opposition, the authorized representative of the application is allowed a rebuttal not to exceed 2 minutes. Questions from members. Following the public comment and rebuttal, the members have an opportunity to ask questions of the staff or the applicant. Voting, making a motion. The member making a motion shall clearly state their name when making a motion. For example, I, Commissioner Flick, move to approve, deny the request. Seconding the motion, the member seconding the motion shall clearly state their name when seconding the motion. For example, I, Commissioner Flick, second the motion made by the other commissioner. Statement by the chair will restate the motion, confirming who made and seconded the motion. Voting, the chair will request a verbal vote from each member by roll call. Each member will indicate yay to vote in support of the motion or nay to vote in opposition. And with that, we'll begin with our first docket item, zoning docket 6921.
Zoning docket 6921 is a request by SLS Studios LLC for a zoning change from an HURD2 historic urban 2-family residential district to an MU2 high intensity mixed use district. The petition site is located on Square 108, lot AX1 in the first municipal district, bounded by Market Street, Annunciation Street, Chippewa Street, Felicity Street, and St. James Street. The municipal addresses are 826 to 836 Market Street and 1663 Chippewa Street. The request is to rezone an undeveloped, underutilized lot in an HURD2 historic urban 2-family district to an MU2 high-intensity mixed-use district. The proposal is to allow the construction of a secondary office building for Second Line Studios and to create a landscape parking area on the premises as well. So this request was originally heard at the August 28, 2021 CPC hearing and was recommended for denial by staff, and the applicant requested a deferral, which was approved by the commission. So the applicant has since submitted updated documentation, which requests a zoning change to an MU1 medium intensity mixed use district. So an MU1 district is a less intensive zoning use, and more intensive uses such as a bar, an amusement facility, or drive-through facility would only be allowable with a conditional use. However, any commercial zoning designation at this site would create a spot zone, as it would be the only commercial zoning within the petition square. And though this site does have a history of commercial zoning, it does not qualify under the historic non-conforming use policy, as the site is currently undeveloped. Therefore, staff retains the recommendation of denial for zoning docket 6921, as the request is still inconsistent with the master plan.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative available for comment? Mr. Brevent, you can unmute and state your name and address.
Hi,
2
Trey
minutes.
Brevant. Hi, Trey Brevant with Second Line Studios at 800 Richard Street. For the record, I would just like to say that the zoning map presented in front of me is the wrong parcel. It should be the parcel directly beneath the parcel that is we are discussing today. Just wanted to, so everyone's clear, we're just looking at the wrong one. As they said, we initially were going after an MU2 designation, and we are asking the commission to consider an MU1 designation after consultation with staff. The HUMU, which I think is that the board would likely look to classify us as, is just, we find that designation would limit our commercial use to about 5,000 square feet, and this is a 30,000 square foot lot. that has a long-standing history of having a commercial use on this piece of property. I know that CPC can't recommend that approval of that zoning change because of the site's designated future land use. But because this is in a really interesting area, it's a transition piece between commercial and residential. It's on a highly trafficked Annunciation Street. And because everything around us does have that MU2, we are asking for the MU1 to help complement the scope of our operations here. The MU1 allows us to contemplate, a lot of our primary uses. We're looking at the development of an office building right now to complement our current studio operations. We did do the NPP work with the neighborhood, and I think initially there was a big petition that was put forth. We since went above and beyond what I think was necessary in consultation with the neighbors, and they were more concerned about operational pieces than the zoning. We've reached really good agreements with them about changing things that they didn't like, and we're working with the community currently for anything that we would do beyond the development period. And I see my 2 minutes are up. I will stop.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Are there any questions from the commission for the applicant or staff?
Commissioner Lon, yes, Mr. Brevent, did you have anything further you wanted to add?
Right.
I was just trying to get it all out. I just wanted to say that we have been working really closely with our neighborhood. We've gotten support from the Kingsley House, we're staying in constant contact with the Lower Garden District Association, and our neighbors on Chippewa, again, aren't so much concerned about the zoning as what our operational procedures are. We've had some really good discussions with them, and we've come to some terms about how we're going to operate, and we're going to continue to be good neighbors to each other. We took a lot of input on our initial design, and we shifted the input based on what they were desiring from us in terms of creating a barrier from them and put the flow of traffic away from their residences. They also understand that we are on this transition piece and that we will continue to work in good faith with them. So that's why we're going after the MU1, because it feels like we've done these design changes specifically for the neighborhood, and we would just ask the board's consideration to go to an MU1. It feels like it's not in the spirit. We feel like what we're asking for is in the spirit of the master plan, even though it doesn't neatly fit within what the CPC usually does. So we feel like we're on this area where we could make some accommodations for the request.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant or of staff?
Commissioner Witchery has a question. So the zoning docket currently is being requested to MU2, but you're requesting MU1. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And can you elaborate on the neighborhood agreements? Are these written agreements or a good neighbor agreement?
They are documented. If you look at the staff report, I think we've submitted all of those things, and we did a detailed recordation of all of the conversations that we have. So it is documented. For instance, after the first meeting, we modified our site lighting, which we had put up for security purposes, and the neighborhood was saying, well, I guess they were bleeding into their windows, and we did not realize that. So we got with Entergy and we modified our site lighting. We also modified our operational parking policies and made agreements in terms of how we were going to utilize that the lot across the street for that. And we're actually actively pursuing more robust fencing between two of the parcels on a other piece of our operation, which has nothing to do with this piece of property, to create more of a separation between us and the neighborhood. We also all understood that the nature of our business can be somewhat disruptive, and we have an agreement that we will work together. I gave everybody in the neighborhood my cell phone number. They all have my number, and they know that if there's any issues that I see or we see or that they see, they will call me. Additionally, I've been working with my clients to make sure that whatever we put forth is being enforced by us. They are guests in our neighborhood, and my allegiance is to the neighborhood first, to make sure that they live it's a tough place to live, but these are homeowners that have been there for generations, and we completely respect that, and we want to work and continue that relationship.
Yes, navigating in these historic neighborhoods can be difficult, so we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to zoning docket 7021.
Zoning docket 7021 is a request for a conditional use to permit an indoor amusement facility and a bar with live entertainment as a secondary use in an HMC2 Historic Marigny Treme Bywater Commercial District, and the rescission of ordinance number 27559 MCS, which previously granted a conditional use to permit a reception facility at the site. There is an existing metal warehouse type structure on the property that was once an automobile repair shop and most recently operated as an art gallery and reception facility. In the HMC2 district, an indoor amusement facility, a bar, and live entertainment as a secondary use all require a conditional use. Live entertainment secondary use is restricted to 1 per block face in the HMC2 district per Article 10, Section 10.2.b.7 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance. The subject property is located directly adjacent to Carnival Lounge, a bar and a venue that has a live entertainment license. The subject property, however, is located on a corner lot with frontage on both St. Claude Avenue and Marigny Street. The applicants intend to use the Marigny Street side of the facility as the main entrance and the existing doors on the St. Claude Avenue side as emergency exits only. Therefore, the facility may operate with live entertainment secondary use, as there are no other live entertainment venues located on the Marigny Street block face. The staff believes an indoor amusement facility and a bar with live entertainment as a secondary use are appropriate for this location. The HMC2 district is designed to accommodate higher intense commercial uses that front on major traffic arteries, such as the case with this request. Uses surrounding the subject property are mixed with commercial and residential, including several bars, restaurants, art galleries, and cafes. Overall, the use of an indoor amusement facility and bar with live entertainment as a secondary use is compliant with the master plan and the general purpose and intent of the applicable zoning district regulations. Therefore, the staff recommends approval of zoning docket 7021, subject to 8 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yeah, thank you. This is Mike Sherman, 800 Barone Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, on behalf of the applicant. I'm joined here with the applicant, Danny Marks, as well today, and we're both happy to answer any questions. First, want to thank staff for an excellent and thorough report and a recommendation of approval. We started with a well-zoned HMC2 site with consistency for this intended use in the master plan. The site already has, as staff pointed out, a conditional use for a reception facility. So by converting to this arts-inspired arcade with a bar, live entertainment as a secondary use and indoor amusement, we will be less intense than the existing reception facility during the peak periods, but certainly much more constant, and that will be open for daily business. The applicant, Danny Marks, has a great personal story. He's a graduate, many musician for many years, coming back to the city to open up this business. Post-Katrina, for any vegetarians, you may remember Cafe Bamboo. That was Danny's first business venture. He's now back for this venture. The use, as we can share more during the Q&A if you have questions, is a classic arcade paired with live music and a bar program. So think of your favorite retro games, whether it's pinball or Pac-Man, they'll be in this.
I lost audio.
I think we lost Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Sherman, you're exactly where we've always wanted you. You're frozen.
Oh no. Are there, I don't know what to do now.
Let's just, sorry, I turned off my video. Let's just go ahead and move on to the next one. And if he pops back on, we can come back to it.
Okay, that sounds good. The next zoning docket item is 7721.
The proposed text amendment of zoning docket 7721 21 is to modify the zoning regulations to authorize reception facility as a conditional use in the Eastern New Orleans Renaissance Corridor use restriction overlay districts. When allowed as a permitted use in the base zoning district, the use would require conditional use approval in accordance with section 4.3. The city planning staff has conferred with the staff of Council District E about the reason for the text amendment. New Orleans East has expansive C2 and C3 general commercial zoning districts that authorize reception facilities as permitted uses. Citizens have reported to their District E council member problems with the operations of reception facilities in these areas that include late hours, outdoor loud noise and music, loitering, and even violence. Citizens suspect that many of the reception facilities are not complying with the standards of section 20.3.WW, especially the prohibition on a general admission fee or any other monetary donations for entrance. Reception facility events may also be serving alcoholic beverages without a license or owner, leaseholder, or caterer. Due to these issues, the council motion proposes conditional use review of new reception facilities. CPC staff recommends modified approval of the proposed amendment with additional standards intended to address impacts and hold facilities accountable, which will appropriately apply only in areas where problems have been identified.
Thank you. Is there anyone from City Council here to speak on this matter? No. Are there any questions of the commission for staff? I have a question. I just wanted to know what happens to the current facilities that are reception facilities. Do they have to now go through this process, or are they grandfathered in?
They're
to that condition?
grandfathered if they have a license, but if they don't have a license, then they would have to go through this process.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for staff? No?
Commissioner Flick, just wanted to report that Mike Sherman is back on the line.
Great. Maybe we can jump back. Mr. Sherman.
We're here. Sorry about that.
Hi. Did you have anything else to finish up?
No, just want to thank staff for their support. Happy to answer any questions. And I understand we got cut off at the Cafe Bamboo portion. But this is an arts-inspired classic arcade. So think of your favorite video games, whether it's Pac-Man or foosball or pinball, and pair that with some live entertainment and a bar. And that is the concept here. And we're happy to answer additional questions.
Great. You're okay with the 8 provisos?
We are. Those are all thoughtful provisos, and we support them all.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant or of staff? No? Okay, thank you, Mr. Sherman. We'll move on to zoning docket item or subdivision docket 11221.
Thank you. Subdivision docket 11221 is a major subdivision reviewed under policy 3 in accordance with article 3, section 3.2.3, no change in street pattern, major subdivisions of the subdivision regulations. The application is considered a major subdivision because it creates more than 5 lots, dividing lot X into 7 new lots of record, lots X1, X2, X3, X4, X5, X6, and X7 for the purpose of providing building sites for 7 residential dwellings. The petition site is zone HMR3 and the proposed lots meet the requirements of Article 9. Therefore, they are eligible for development with a single and 2-family residences. The reconfiguration would also create a reversal of lot frontage condition. The existing lot fronts on Columbus Street and the proposed lots would front on North Robertson Street. Smaller residential scale lots facing North Robertson Street are consistent with the neighborhood context and the surrounding lot pattern. The proposal is consistent with the master plan, and therefore the staff recommends tentative approval of subdivision docket 11221 with final approval subject to 1 waiver and 4 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant representative on the call?
Yes, this is Paula George. Can you hear me?
Yes, Paul. Could you please just state your name and address for the record?
Paula George, attorney, 2403 St. Charles Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70130.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, so this property, before my client bought it, was a 3-story apartment building with 20 plus units, and Nora expropriated it as a blighted property, and it was demolished. So he's owned the property for nearly 16 years, and he acquired it as vacant land. And he's gone through several ideas of what to put, high rise and other things. But in 2005, right after he bought it, the hurricane came, and FEMA set up plumbing and parked trailers there for a few years, and they put up the fence. Now, I went by the property Sunday just to look at it and look at the neighborhood. And I agree with the previous speaker that it is consistent with the neighborhood, and it would be much better to have single family or doubles in the neighborhood. It's the highest and best use of this land. It's consistent with the neighborhood, and which are all houses and nothing big commercial like that. So we ask that this be approved as a major subdivision.
Great. And are you okay with the waiver and 4 provisos as stated?
Yeah, well, the waiver is good for us because the corner lot doesn't have to be 15% larger. And the provisos, well, we don't know exactly what those provisos will be, but I'm sure we have to comply with NGG and public real estate records. I'm looking at the rest of the things. But yes, as they're specified.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant, for the commission, or for staff? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next docket item, subdivision docket 11521.
Madam Chair?
Oh, yes. Commissioner
Yes,
Brown.
Kelly, I've joined a little while ago. I've had some technical difficulties. I just wanted to make sure my audio was working. And I just wanted to let y'all know I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna take my audio off.
Okay, subdivision docket 11521.
Subdivision docket 11521 is a request to re-subdivide lots 1, 2, 15, and 16 into lot 1A in an SRS suburban single-family residential district. The proposal would reconfigure the existing 4 lots into one rectangular lot of record, which would measure approximately 10,000 square feet in area. The proposed new lot is classified as a double frontage lot, as it would have frontage on perpendicular streets, Patterson Drive and Pacey Street. Pacey Street is currently unpaved and undeveloped. Based on the possibility that the street could ultimately be paved, creating a true double frontage, staff is reviewing this request as a double frontage scenario. Article 5, Section 5.5.5, double frontage lots of the New Orleans Subdivision Regulations states that double frontage lots shall be avoided except where essential to provide separation of residential development from major streets or to overcome specific disadvantages on topography or adjacent non-compatible land uses. It also allows for the creation of double frontage lot in an established urban environment where a similar development pattern already exists in the surrounding blocks, and where a second frontage would provide for non-existent off-street parking and fire access to a building on a site that would otherwise not be present. The proposed subdivision meets the criteria under Article 5, Section 5.5.5 of the New Orleans Subdivision Regulations. It is located in an established urban environment that has a similar development pattern already existing in the surrounding blocks. In addition, the proposal would consolidate the lots that have historically been used as one development. It would rectify a zoning issue where there is currently an accessory structure on 2 lots without a principal structure, and would eliminate what is effectively a landlocked lot, Lot 15. Lot 15's only street frontage is Pacey Street, the paper street, which is unpaved and overgrown. For these reasons, the staff supports the request and recommends tentative approval of subdivision docket 11521, subject to 3 provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call?
Yes, this is me, Elizabeth Phelps, Professional Designs Group, and representing the owner in behalf of the subdivision, Elias Hernandez.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
It's a simple residential house. And it's divided in 4 lots, and we're asking for the subdivision to redo a completely new house of 2,500 square feet with a frontage in Patterson Drive. Basically, it's a simple residential house, and we're asking for the subdivision of the 4 lots into 1.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant or for staff? Hearing none, we will move on to the next subdivision docket item 11921.
Yes, so the commission does not have a report for this one, and we're just doing an oral presentation. This is subdivision docket 11921, and it proposes to consolidate several lots into a single lot to accommodate the site of Port New Orleans Brewery. The items that require commission action is number 1, the subdivision would create a double frontage lot, which is discouraged by the subdivision regulations as regulation section 555. The new lot would also be L-shaped, which is inconsistent with section 5.5.2, which requires side property lines to be perpendicular to front property lines, a requirement that L-shaped lots cannot meet. It's being reviewed under policy B, and there are 5 analysis items. Number 1, the existing lots 19 through 21 and 4 through 5 are all currently serving as a single development site occupied by Port New Orleans. So functionally, there is already a double frontage condition. The double frontage condition is consistent with the surrounding context, which includes the number of lots, double frontage parcels between Tchoupitoulas and South Front Streets. Many of these parcels have historically been occupied by large format industrial or commercial uses, and the size and double frontage conditions have been necessary to accommodate the operational needs of these developments. The subdivision would expand the existing site by adding 2 neighboring lots, creating an L shape in the process. The dogleg projection of the rear of the lot would constitute about 23% of the overall area of the lot. So this would be considered a major L shape. The staff is inclined to support the major L shape because the commission has made it clear in its consideration of the draft subdivision regulation that it supports being more permissive of the creation of L-shaped lots in many contexts, including the MU1 districts. Indeed, this L shape would be eligible for administrative approval under the draft subdivision regulations. Also, because the site is zoned MU1, medium intensity mixed use district, the area that is to have the dogleg shape is potentially entirely buildable, regardless of whether it has a dogleg shape. So one of the presumed impacts of the L-shaped lots is that it creates buildable area where it had not previously existed, and that is not the case here. The staff recommendation is tentative approval with final approval subject to the 3 standard provisos.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call? No. Are there any questions for staff? No. Okay, we can move on to the next subdivision docket item 12021.
Good afternoon. Subdivision document 121 is a request by 621 Phillips Avenue to subdivide 1 lot, lot 92-A, into 3 lots, lots 93A1, 93A2, and lot 93A3.
Joseph, could you speak up just a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing you. Would you mind?
Yes. And so this site is located in an HMC2, Historic Marine HMA by Water Commercial District. The proposal is an effective divide the existing lot that was formerly occupied by the aquatic gardens into 3 lots, 2 residential scale lots along Charter Street, and a large third lot that would include the remainder of the property. Lot 93-A would retain its frontages on Elysian Fields and Royal Street, while 93A2 and 93A3 would shift their frontages to Charter Street. The existing lot contains 4 existing structures. The applicant has stated the purpose of the subdivision is to allow for single-family residential dwellings.
Sorry, Jones, can you repeat that last portion of what you said?
Yeah, are you guys getting a lot of feedback? I'm getting a lot of feedback on my end.
Yeah, static. It's like static.
All right, so why this requires commission action. The proposed subdivision requires commission action for the following reason. The previous subdivision application was site Subdivision Docket 11721 sparked a great deal of public interest. Given this, it is appropriate for a public hearing to be held for this application pursuant to subdivision regulations, section 3.1.3. For these reasons, so to the review of policy and analysis, because this is a oral presentation. So, for these reasons, the subdivision docket is being reviewed under policy B. Per staff analysis, we have determined that existing lots are an approximately T-shaped lot with frontage on Elysian Fields Avenue, Charter Street, and Royal Street. The irregular lot shape and multiple frontage condition is inconsistent with sections 5.5.2 and 5.5.5 respectively, which seeks to create regular, typically rectangular lots that have a single frontage. However, the existing lot is going to be consistent with the character of small rectangular lots. The application subdivides the existing lot by creating 2 new residential scale on Charter Street for residential development. The remainder of the existing lot would be left as a large, approximately L-shaped lot. The staff considers this an improvement over the existing condition because the proposed lots along Charter Street would be consistent in size and shape with the subdivision regulations, zoning ordinance, and neighborhood character. And number 2, the elimination of the existing lot's Charter Street frontage would cause the lot to no longer be a double frontage lot, making it more compliant with the subdivision regulations. Staff has also informed the applicant they will need to revoke the previous subdivision for the site, subdivision 11720, and file an active correction. For the aforementioned reason, the staff recommends tentative approval of subdivision docket 121-21 with approval subject to 3 standards.
Thank you. Is there an applicant or an applicant's representative on the call? No. Are there any questions of staff for this docket item? No, looks like we've gotten to the end of our active docket items for today. I don't know if we want to discuss or list off the deferrals.
Yeah, this is Stephen. I'll go ahead and do that.
You,
there are a number of items for deferral today. The staff is recommending that the commission defer zoning docket 7121 through 7621, as well as subdivision docket 12321 to the October 12th meeting. And additionally, the staff is recommending that the commission defer zoning dockets 9021 through 9421 to the November 9th meeting.
Thank you. I think we're now done with the docket items. When we can break for a 30-minute recess. Can I have a motion to recess, returning in 30?
Commissioner Stieg so moves.
Commissioner Stieg, is there a second?
Seconds.
Commissioner Brown.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. So we'll join for 30 minutes. We're returning at 2:40. Right. I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Flick. Yes. Commissioner Lunn.
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Witry.
Yes, and
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley.
And Commissioner Mobley. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll see you in 30 minutes. It's 2:40. We'll start the meeting with roll call. Commissioner Alexander,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Flick, present. Commissioner Lunn, Commissioner Mobley, Commissioner Steve,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Hey, Luna.
Here.
and Commissioner Witry. Okay, we have a quorum to begin. Commissioner Lunn, I see you. And Commissioner Mobley. Okay, do we have any comments for the first docket item?
Commissioner Flick?
Yes.
I just want to say that Commissioner Lunn just joined.
Hi, thank you. Any comments for zoning docket 6921?
Yes, there's a comment from Jason Richards, 815 Pauline Street. Yes, he is a paid representative, so he's in support of this application. As a consultant to Second Line Studios, our office has worked closely with CPC staff to identify a zoning change request that would place the parcel at 826 to 836 Market Street back into commerce while minimizing adverse effects to surrounding neighbors. Although we understand that the entire square in question is currently residentially zoned, the parcel at the north end of the site is located at the boundary of the two zoning districts. MU1 zoning would be an appropriate transition from the neighboring MU2 properties along the north side of Market Street. Additionally, the parcel is similarly situated to other squares on the south side of Market Street that are partially commercially zoned. The total site area of the parcel in question is approximately 30,000 square feet and has historic use as a double frontage lot. This unique use and lot configuration were recognized by the City Planning Commission in 2020 when the parcel in question was approved for re-subdivision as a single parcel. Although we recognize it is the policy of the City Planning Commission to narrowly restrict commercial zoning changes to lots with existing buildings and evidence of former commercial use, we contend that the parcel in question for this application fits the spirit of the master plan, even if it does not neatly fit the CPC policy for commercial zoning changes. Specifically, the use of the site for at least the last 30 years was as a single outdoor industrial use. In the case of the site in question, the parcel is distinct from other properties in the same zoning district and should be subject to consideration for a zoning change under the master plan. We appreciate the commission's consideration.
Thank you. This zoning docket is up for denial. Does the commission have any questions or a motion?
Commissioner Lunn, I have a question for staff. Is it correct the most recent usage was for 30 years as industrial outdoor use for this parcel?
In staff's research, we found it as a steel storage facility. We cannot determine if it was for 30 years or not.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And the applicant was looking first for an MU2 occupancy and then changed that to an MU1 occupancy, but both recommended for denial by staff. Are there any other questions from the commission or a motion?
Commissioner Lunn, so it just, in light of the fact that it was obviously a commercial usage on this large parcel, is surrounded by commercial usages, is a viable economic business that is in a nature of business that the city is trying to expand and have flourish. I would like to forward a motion that we, in opposition to staff's recommendation, I move for approval of this zoning docket request 70-21.
And to clarify, are you moving to?
I have the wrong zoning docket, don't I? Yeah.
It's zoning docket 6921, but are you moving to approve?
I move for approval of the application to change the zoning to MU1 on this parcel.
MU1. Is there a second?
Commissioner Mobley will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mobley. Are there, Commissioner Lunn has made a motion for approval of zoning docket 6921 for zoning of MU1, seconded by Commissioner Mobley. Is there any discussion? No. I would just like to say that I'm going to be in support of this motion, and I also appreciate the applicant's desire to make good with his neighbors and make adjustments as necessary, and that's part of the reason why I'm going to go along with this motion. Are there any other questions for discussion? I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lund?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Steed?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Wittry?
Yes.
Great, thank you. The motion passes. Next zoning docket item is 7020. Are there any comments?
Yes, the first comment is from Jeffrey Huddleston from 3610 Clematis Street. He's not a paid representative, so he is also in support of this application. I'm a local artist and musician. I've known Danny Marks for over 20 years. I think this will be a great addition to the St. Claude corridor. Next comment is from Chandler Newdick, 4935 South Johnson Street. Chandler is not a paid representative and is in support of this application. My name is Chandler Newtick. I was born and raised in New Orleans, and I am the founding executive director of Community Works, a local nonprofit organization that runs after school and summer programs for over 900 New Orleans young people daily. I have known Danny most of my life and have full confidence in his ability to run a great business that will benefit the neighborhood and our city. I am also involved as a partner in this project, with one of my main responsibilities being to make sure that the business gives back to our community and employs local artists and culture bearers. The next comment is from Joshua Scalf, 8217 Jeanette Street. Josh was not a paid representative and is in support of this application. I am a musician and a friend of the business owner, Danny Marks. I think the location is a great spot for a new bar. The section of St. Claude Avenue where the bar is seeking to open has a vibrant nightlife for the local population. I personally frequent the bars and restaurants in the area because I'm likely to run into people I know. Being close to the streetcar line and dedicated bike line is another reason why the location is good for the public interest. Next comment is from Seth Cohen, 3207 Chippewa Street. Seth is not a paid representative and is in support of this application. My name is Seth Cohen and I'm a student. I'm in support of this project because it sounds like a great venture. I think it would be a great addition to our city. Next comment is from Nathan Cantor, 215 West Brook Street. Nathan is not a paid representative and is in support of this application. My name is Nathan Cantor and I'm a community member in support of small local business, providing more options for entertainment. I am writing in support of this project. I think it would be a great addition to the community as a place for locals and provide jobs. The next comment is from Mark Lamar, 428 Wagner Street. Mark is not a paid representative and is in support of this application. My name is Mark Lamar. I am a professional musician and radio DJ for WWOZ. I think Emporium would be a great addition to St. Claude Avenue and providing a unique new space for musicians to play and earn a living and reach new audiences. The next comment is from Dan Davis, 1436 Arch Street. Dan is not a paid representative and is in support of this application. I'm in support of this project. I think it helped the continued revitalization of the St. Claude area.
Thank you. The zoning docket is recommended for approval, subject to 8 provisos. Is there any questions or a motion?
This Commissioner Steig, I move. Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, that's okay. I would like to move approval with the 8 provisos for staff's recommendation.
I'll second Kelly's motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown made a motion to approve zoning docket 7021 for approval, subject to 8 provisos, seconded by Commissioner Steed. Is there any discussion? No. I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Flick, yes. Commissioner Lunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. Next zoning docket item, zoning docket 7721. Are there any comments?
No public comment.
This zoning docket is subject to modified approval. Are there any questions or a motion? And this was the city council motion to refresh everyone's memory.
I'll make a motion to approve zoning docket 7721 with modified approval per staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner Witry. Is there a second?
I'll second Commissioner Lunn.
Thank you, Commissioner Lund. Commissioner Witry made a motion to approve zoning docket 7721 per staff recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Lund. Is there any discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lund?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next item is subdivision docket 11221. Are there any comments?
No public comment.
This was staff report indicated tentative approval subject to 1 waiver and 4 provisos. Is there any questions or a motion?
Commissioner Brown will move approval per staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Is there a second?
Commissioner Witry will second.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown made a motion to approve zoning docket 11221, subject to staff report, seconded by Commissioner Witry. Is there any discussion? No. Call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Subdivision docket 11521. This was subject to approval with 3 provisos. Is there a question or a motion? Oh, sorry, public comment. Thank you.
No public comment.
Thank you. Are there any questions or a motion?
Commissioner Lunn, I'll move for approval of subdivision docket 11521, tentative approval subject to 3 provisos as recommended in the staff report.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Witry will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Witry. Commissioner Lund made a motion to approve subdivision docket 11521 per staff report, seconded by Commissioner Witry. There are no comments. I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lund?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Excellent. Motion passes. Next item is subdivision docket 11921. And that was staff report indicated tentative approval subject to 3 provisos. Are there any questions or were there any comments?
No public comment.
No. Are there any questions or a motion?
Commissioner Witry will make a motion to approve subdivision docket 120-21 per staff approval.
This is, I believe this is zoning docket, subdivision docket 119.
119-21. Thank you, Chair Lady.
Thank you. Okay, is there a second?
Commissioner Mobley will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Mobley. Commissioner Witry made a motion to approve subdivision docket 11921 per staff report, seconded by Commissioner Mobley. There are no comments or questions. I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Excellent. The motion passes. The next subdivision docket is 12021, and this was tentative approval subject to 3 provisos. Are there any comments?
No
public comments? Thank you. Are there any questions or a motion from the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve subdivision docket 120-21.
Yes. Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Brown will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Witry made a motion to approve subdivision docket 12021 per staff report, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Are there any discussion? Is there any discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Commissioner Alexander,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Flick, yes. Commissioner Lunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley,
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
and Commissioner Witry.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Very efficient, everyone. Stephen, if you could just call out the deferral dates one more time for us for those items for October
Sure.
and then the one for November.
Yeah, of course. Zoning dockets 71 through 76 and subdivision docket 12321 are recommended for deferral to October 12th. Zoning dockets 9021 through 9421 are recommended for deferral to November 9th.
Great, thank you. So we're looking for a motion for deferral for those zoning docket items.
Okay,
Is there?
Commissioner Lunn, I move for deferral of the zoning docket 71 through 7621 and subdivision docket 11221 to the October 12th CPC meeting and zoning docket 90 to 9421 to the November 9th CPC meeting. And I hope I got that right.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Steve.
Thank you, Commissioner Stieg. Commissioner Lunn, repeat this. Commissioner Lunn made a motion for deferral of zoning docket 7121 to 7621 and subdivision docket 11221 to the October 12th meeting and zoning docket 9421 to 9221 to 9421 to November 9th meeting. Is there any discussion?
I think it's zoning docket 9021 to 9421, or did I?
Oh, Stephen says yes. Yes. Thank you. 9021 to 9421 for November 9th. Thank you. I will call the question. Commissioner Alexander?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Flick? Yes. Commissioner Lunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Mobley?
Yes.
Commissioner Stieg?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Witry?
Yes.
Excellent. Motion passes. And that's all we have for today. So I guess be well, and we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Witry will make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mobley will second.
Both Commissioner Mobley and Commissioner Brown second, and we can just wave our hands.
So long, everybody. Stay
Thanks,
well.
guys.